Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is currently 2 a.m. where I am, but I literally could not sleep after reading the latest batch of General Hospital spoilers. Grab a coffee, or maybe something a little stronger, because we seriously need to sit down and talk about what is happening in Port Charles right now. I cannot believe they are actually doing this. I mean, I am sitting here staring at my screen, and my jaw is on the floor. Are we seriously about to watch the end of an era? Because the spoilers are saying that Jason Morgan, yes, the Jason Morgan, the leather jacket wearing, emotionless enforcer of Port Charles, is quitting the mob. And not just taking a vacation, but actually breaking the news to Sonny that he cannot work for him anymore as a hitman. I'm sorry, but what? I have been watching this show since 2015, and honestly, even looking back at the decades of history before that, Jason is the mob just as much as Sonny is. This is the guy who turned his back on the wealthy, prestigious Quartermain family after his brain injury just to become Sonny's right hand. And now he's just walking away? But wait, I kinda get it. Because it's all about Danny. Jason was talking to Sonny and making so much sense about needing to be there for Danny Morgan, because he is literally all that Danny has right now. And can we talk about Danny for a second? This kid has been stressing me out so much lately. He has been totally fixated on Jen Sidwell, trying to align himself with Sonny's mob, and breaking into Windermere with Charlotte Cassidy. Like, Danny is spiraling. Alexis is absolutely terrified, and Rick Lansing has been delivering nothing but bad news about the kid. So Jason's stepping up and realizing, hey, maybe I shouldn't be a professional killer if I want my son to stay out of prison or a body bag, is actually growth. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day Jason Morgan prioritized parenting over protecting Sonny, but here we are. And speaking of Sonny, this is where the spoilers absolutely threw me for a loop. Because Sonny didn't just accept Jason's resignation. Sonny mentioned quitting the mob too. I need a minute. I literally need to pause and take a breath. Sonny Corinthos? The Teflon Don? The guy who has run the Port Charles underworld for like 30 years? Quitting? Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up. Remember a few years ago when Sonny actually talked about quitting the mob? Yeah, didn't work then either. Every single time this man tries to go legit, somebody shoots at him, or a rival family moves in, and he's right back to ordering hits from the back room of Pazzalos. But this time feels different. Because Sonny actually told Jason that Danny had already come to him asking to join the mob, and Sonny turned him down flat. Sonny Corinthos rejected a willing recruit because he knows it's a death sentence. Am I the only one who got massive chills reading that? Because it instantly made me think of Morgan. Oh my god, Morgan Corinthos. I am still not over it. Okay? Morgan was the absolute casualty of Sonny's lifestyle. He was blown to pieces by a car bomb that was meant for Julian Jerome, all because of the mob war. Sonny has had to live with the blood of his own son on his hands for years. And you can just tell that the ghost of Morgan is haunting every single decision Sonny makes right now. He looks at Danny, he looks at Jason, and he realizes he doesn't want another generation of this family in the ground. Because look at who Sonny has to protect now. He has grandchildren to consider. Michael has Wiley and Amelia. Then there's Gio Palmieri, and of course, Rocco Falconeri. And his daughters, Donna and Avery, are both still so little. Avery has already been through so much trauma. I mean, Ava Jerome got out of the mob, thank God, but she is literally the only one left alive from the Jerome crime family, besides Avery. The Jeromes were wiped off the map. The 5 families? Gone. Completely obliterated. Even when Selena Wu was still running around town, she had to band together with Sonny just to survive. So why is Sonny still doing this? What is the point? Who is he even fighting anymore? The spoilers are saying that Ross Cullum is dead, and Jen Sidwell is in jail awaiting trial. Like, the major threats are neutralized. Wait, hold on, I'm contradicting myself here. Because if Sidwell is in jail awaiting trial, why the heck is Rick Lansing in Sonny's office nudging him to eliminate Sidwell? And why are Sonny and Laura secretly plotting to get Pascal to turn on Sidwell for Henry Dalton's murder? Okay, maybe Sidwell is running things from the inside, or maybe Sonny just wants to tie up loose ends before he officially retires. But the point is, the active street war is over. Cullum is gone. Sidwell is locked up. Sonny has a window to get out. But can we talk about the Rocco situation for a second? Because if Sonny wants to be a family man, he has a massive mess on his hands right now. Rocco is literally on the run with Britt Westbourne. I am still screaming at my TV over this storyline. Lulu Spencer, in her infinite wisdom, got a fake passport for Rocco, and then Britt, who is completely unhinged right now because of her Huntingtons, and the Cold Fusion Project, actually caved and took the kid with her. Britt literally locked Elizabeth Baldwin in a closet, smashed her and Rocco's phones, ran them over with her car, and sped out of town. And Rocco left a video message saying he wasn't coerced. Dante and Lulu are absolutely losing their minds, debating if they should bring in the FBI. And what does Sonny do? He sits in his office at Pazzulo's, gets on the phone, and tells someone to sit tight. I will take care of everything, like a mob boss. So how can he quit when his family constantly needs his underworld connections to solve their problem? If the FBI gets involved, Rocco is ruined. Dante was even listening to Cassius Faison, who is still pretending to be Nathan West. Ugh, don't even get me started on that creep holding Jocelyn captive, telling him to use Sonny's mob ties to make Rocco disappear to a non-extradition country. So Sonny says he wants out, but his family literally relies on his illegal power to function. And speaking of family messes, look at what Michael is doing right now. Sonny's golden boy, the one who was supposed to be the good Corinthos, is literally acting like a mobster in his own marriage. Michael has private investigator Elaine snapping photos because he is actively trying to set up Willow to cheat with Harrison Chase just so he can get sole custody of the kids. Because Michael found out Willow shot Drew Kane. It is so toxic. If Sonny quits the mob, maybe he can actually step in and parent his grown children. Because Michael is spiraling into villain territory. Okay, back to the point. Let's look at Sonny's legitimate business. Because the man actually has a pretty solid portfolio if he drops the illegals. He still wants his peers back so he can run Corinthos Coffee and rebuild the warehouse. That was exactly why he called Jason over that day when Rick Lansing was hanging around. Corinthos Coffee is a massive, legitimate enterprise. And then there's Pazzulo's. Yes, we all know the backroom has seen something. We know hits have been ordered over plates of pasta. But it's a real restaurant. And Volanino's gym is clean? Sure, there have been a few incidents there over the years because it's Port Charles and people get punched into mirrors, but it's a legit business that makes him money. And let's not forget the most hilarious part of all of this. Sonny Corinthos is on the board of General Hospital. A mob boss is on the hospital board. I mean, the irony is just delicious. It's giving major Cyrus Renault vibes, except Sonny actually cares about the hospital. Remember when Cyrus ran GH and took down all the security cameras so he could run drugs? Which, by the way, is exactly why some random mystery person was able to sneak into Jordan Ashford's room and terrify her this week. But Sonny is trying to be a regular Port Charles business. He's sitting in board meetings, probably arguing about budget cuts and MRI machines, while secretly being the most dangerous man in town. So, is this the time to pull out? During this period of relative safety, with Sidwell in jail and Cullum dead, I kind of want to say yes. I want to see Grandpa Sonny. I want to see him just roasting coffee beans, giving advice to Michael, and protecting his daughters. But let's be real. Let's be completely 100% honest with ourselves as soap fans. Nature abhors a vacuum. And the Port Charles underworld definitely abhors a vacuum. If Sonny and Jason both step down, who steps up? I'll tell you who is already sniffing around. Ethan Lovett. Ethan literally just came back to town, met up with Lulu at Pier 55, and then immediately went to Sonny's house to ask for a mob job. Ethan wants to fill Jason's. He is itching to eliminate Sidwell, because of what Sidwell did to his mother, Holly Sutton. Sonny told Ethan he had another job for him, but wanted to hold back on Sidwell. But if Sonny quits, does Ethan take over? Does Rick Lansing swoop in and try to run things from the shadows? Rick is already mutually suspicious of Ethan, and those two circling each other is a disaster waiting to happen. And what about Danny? Jason is quitting to save Danny, but Danny is a teenager with Morgan's reckless streak and Jason's DNA. If the Corinthos organization is left unguarded, someone is going to try to take it. I am terrified that Danny's going to try to prove himself and end up in the crossfire. I know some people are loving this idea of a peaceful, legit Sonny. I see the comments on Twitter and the forums. People are saying, finally, character growth. And personally, a part of me loves it. I love the emotional weight of Jason and Sonny realizing they are getting older, the world is changing, and their kids need them alive more than they need them powerful. That scene where Jason explains he has to be there for Danny. Masterclass acting. Give Steve Burton the Emmy right now. But the other part of me, the part of me that has been watching GH for years, I am dreading it. Because I know how this ends. It ends with a false sense of security. It ends with Sonny letting his guard down, having a nice family picnic in the park, and then a sniper's bullet shatters the... It always happens. You don't just walk away from the 5 families, even if they are supposedly gone. You don't just walk away from a lifetime of enemies. I'm sorry, but I just have so many feelings about it. If Sonny actually makes this stunning announcement this week, Port Charles is going to explode. The power shift will be astronomical. Carly is going to freak out. Speaking of Carly, she has her own massive problems right now. Lucas is heavily pressuring her to dump Jack Brennan because Jocelyn just exposed Carly's affair with Valentine Cassadine to Brennan. Like, Jocelyn literally marched into Brennan's Metro Court suite and spilled the beans. So Carly is in the middle of a spy love triangle meltdown, and now she's going to have to deal with Sonny quitting the mob. She is going to lose her mind. And Alexis? Alexis is going to have a heart attack. She is already so overwhelmed that she's dragging Ava Jerome to Manhattan to investigate some Japanese artists linked to Delilah Wilson just to get away from the Port Charles drama. If Sonny quits, the entire power structure that Alexis has simultaneously hated and relied on for decades is... And the PCPD? Dante and Anna might actually have to do real police work instead of just letting Sonny handle the bad guys. I mean, look at Curtis Ashford right now. Curtis just absolutely destroyed Isaiah Gannon's hand in a fight because Isaiah was at Portia's baby. Curtis showed zero remorse, and now ADA Justine Turner is probably going to prosecute. If Sonny isn't around to pull strings and intimidate people, half the town is going to end up in Pentonville. What do you guys think? Am I crazy for thinking this is a terrible idea for Sonny? Or is it finally time for the Corinthos cartel to close its doors for good? I need to know your thoughts, because my brain is spinning. Drop your comments, let me know if you're here for legit Sonny, or if you think it's a massive mistake. Alright, I'm gonna try to get some sleep before my brain completely short circuits. See you guys in the next one.